Baptiste is what happens when a DPS player masquerades as a support. You want kills, but the royal queue for damage heroes will take you into the next millennium, so you compromise and play Bap. You would choose Moira, but you'd be flamed for having no skill and providing no utility for the team aside from just damaging the enemy, as Moira is the most basic support in the game. But with Bap, his whole thing is the shoot, heal rhythm he has to do to maximize his APM, and that's what makes Bap appealing, as you don't need to decide between damage and healing, as with enough time and practice, you can be the deadliest support in the game, with a good amount of survivability to boot. The bread and butter of his kit is that he can add damage in between each heal, so a good Bap would fire their burst in between each healing projectile, but what I find tricky is that you often have to face down to heal or face up to shoot, hence why he works well with tanks that stay relatively still, like Ramatra and Reinhardt. More often than not, you heal by aiming your gun at the ground, which all but guarantees your teammate receives the heal, but the enemy will be at eye level, so you constantly change your gun's elevation. And if your tank or DPS is miles away, deep behind enemy lines, then you might as well play offense. If the D.Va is miles away, it's hard to min-max when you constantly shift your aim. Furthermore, dive heroes like D.Va, Winston and Hammond often fly in from the air, and it can be kind of tricky to land your heal on airborne targets, which further reinforces how you play better with grounded tanks. You want someone who will stay by your side. Looks like someone's got a case of abandonment trauma.
Cause you and me, we're like brothers, only closer.
Although, there is a paradox when playing Bap. For most supports, you want to be out in the line of fire, and that often means healing around the corner, so you're protected and the enemy can't get to you, as there's a wall between you and the enemy. The issue with Bap is that to maximize his abilities, you need to fire a gun and land your shots, but doing so puts you in the line of fire, increasing the likelihood of elimination. If a Mercy could, she would always hide behind cover, so she is never in the line of fire unless the enemy has a Sigma or Junkrat who can shoot around corners, but Bap is a DPS disguised as a support, so he can be in the thick of combat, but that only means more pain and anguish on his part.
Ho ho! Ow!
Professor, don't you remember what I told you?
No!
Fortunately, you do have tools to increase your survivability, such as Regenerative Burst. That ability helps you and the surrounding allies stay in the fight for longer, as you have enough sustain to keep on firing at the enemy. His first perk, being Assault Burst, adds and compounds how he's a combat medic and should do a lot of damage as it increases his rate of fire for his left click. This would reinforce how you're supposed to keep on firing and shoot enemies while simultaneously heal yourself and the team. If you're landing headshots, you can drop enemies relatively quickly, but the thing that keeps you in the fight for longer is the Regenerative Burst and the Immortality Field, also known as the Lamp. Speaking of the Lamp, it's one of the most satisfying abilities in the game. There's nothing more satisfying than preventing someone from dying by using your Lamp at the last possible moment. You're supposed to save the Lamp for others and group wipes, but in reality, you save it for yourself when you're out of position. Mind you, that isn't a bad idea, as if the support dies, the rest of the team falls too, as they won't have the sustain. If Bap dies, the Lamp might as well not exist.
We're out of coffee!
Also, despite the 25-second cooldown, I use it quite frequently as the extra target does preoccupy the enemy, and sometimes a definitely alive teammate right now waids a potentially alive teammate 5 seconds later, even if they never needed the Lamp in the first place. Furthermore, if you crunch the numbers, the 25-second cooldown isn't too bad even if it saves one teammate. It takes 12 seconds to respawn and anywhere from 15 to 30 seconds to get into the fight, meaning you're out of the game for a solid half minute, which might as well be a small eternity. If the Lamp saves even one teammate, you prevent lost damage, healing, pressure and space making, all of which is worth a 25-second cooldown. From a pure efficiency standpoint, trading a 25-second cooldown to prevent a 30-second death timer is a win. However, one of the main win conditions as Bap is using the Lamp at the right moment, i.e. preventing team wipes. However, the main thing that makes Bap unique compared to other supports is that he can heal and damage without one eating into the other. Zenyatta's Discord Orb may ruin the enemy, but his healing is relatively low. Mercy can give a damage boost, but more time damage boosting is only less time healing. Bap can offer good heals and good damage without either compromising the other, and that's what makes him so appealing, as he can have his cake and eat it too, offer good damage and good heals without either compromising the other. So if you're stuck in damage roll queue for 10 years, check out the Haitian, he can get the job done. This is Zach not Zach signing off. Please remember to like, favorite, comment and subscribe.